Jesus said, "Very truly I tell you, anyone who does not enter the fold by the sheepfold by the gate, but climbs in by another way, is a thief and a bandit. The one who enters by the gate is the shepherd of the sheep. The gatekeeper opens the gate for him, and the sheep hear his voice. He calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. When he has brought out all his own, he goes ahead of them, and the sheep follow him because they know his voice. They will not follow a stranger, but will run from him because they do not know the voice of strangers." Jesus used this figure of speech with them, but they did not understand what he was saying to them. So again, Jesus said to them, "Very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who came before me are thieves and bandits, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters by me will be saved, and will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly." The gospel of the Lord. Thanks for inviting us into your home again this Sunday. About 8 weeks in a row, but who's counting? Let's start with the word of prayer. Loving God, in the midst of worries and concerns, still our hearts and our minds. Speak to us in this time of worship through song and liturgy and word, that we might be encouraged and be assured that you go with us through this dark valley as our good shepherd. Amen. Today's gospel reading is just rich with images, isn't it? Shepherd, sheep, sheepfold, thief, bandit, and gate. You may have already picked up on it, but our entire service this morning is filled with songs focused on images of a shepherd. So for a change of pace on this Sunday, traditionally called Good Shepherd Sunday, I want us to consider and ponder and examine the image of a gate or a door. A gate or a door, to expand that image just a little bit, has two broad aspects, I think, to explore. One is physical, and the second is metaphor. Think about the front door or entry gate to your home or residential community. What does the door or gate look like? What does that door or gate say about you or your neighbors? Driving around through the years, I've seen some imposing, impressive stone walls with huge, massive wrought iron gates across the drive. And I thought that entryway cost more than my house cost. But what does such an imposing gate say? Does it say, "I'm wealthy and I want to announce that to everybody that drives by"? Maybe it says, "I'm insecure and this is part of my fortress to keep dangers away." It could say that I only allow those whom I choose to get close to me, physically and maybe emotionally as well. But I've also seen hovels in developing countries where there is incredible, heart-rending poverty. And the doors to those houses might be a loosely fitted swinging door or just strips of fabric dangling from the lintel and fluttering in the breeze. Neither of those provides much privacy or security to speak of, but they tell me not just of the poverty there, but of the struggle of that family for human dignity and desire for a bit of privacy for those who call that space home. Last year, Brenda decided that our bland white front door needed replacing. Thankfully, she only meant painting it. So she selected a nice calming shade of green and painted it. So we hope that, combined with the large light in the middle of the door, that calming color is both resonates peaceful and is inviting to those who visit us. Elliot and his family live near Charleston. They live in a new development where everything is standard. And finally, the homeowners got charge of the Homeowners Association, which had initially legislated, standard colors for siding, roofing, and doors. And as soon as the HOA got responsibility, Kristen, Elliot's wife, readily convinced neighbors that colorful, eye-catching doors are essential because they live in Charleston. So they now have an eye-catching coral-colored front door that really enlivens their white house and is a visible sign that you're near Charleston. The main entry doors at Grace and many other Lutheran churches are painted red. That red announces God's forgiveness and salvation offered to all through the death and resurrection of Jesus. They announce the offer of new life, a fresh start toward the abundant life that Jesus promises in today's gospel. Our focus is on verses 7 through 10 this morning. Listen to them again. Jesus said to them, "Very truly I tell you, I am the gate for the sheep. All who came before me are thieves and bandits, but the sheep did not listen to them. I am the gate. Whoever enters by me will be saved and will come in and go out and find pasture. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I came that they may have life and have it abundantly." I am the gate, Jesus says. It seems to imply that Jesus is like a fence, a wall, or other barrier, and is the passageway through that. And as with any gate or door, there are clearly insiders and outsiders. The sheep and the shepherd are those inside who are kept safe by the wall and the closed gate. The closed gate excludes thieves and bandits, those who would harm or steal the sheep. So what's a gate or an opening in the fence or a wall all about? How do gates and doors reveal the presence of Jesus, our good shepherd, among us or to us? For many in our world, I think gates or doors are the focal point for their hope. They symbolize where freedom and hope and liberation begin. Consider, immigrants pass through a border gate in pursuit of safety, a new life, and hope for their families. Refugees who have walked countless days and endless miles fleeing war, persecution, violence, rape, and more that we cannot begin to imagine, pass through a gate into a refugee camp which, as we've seen pictures, doesn't look all that hopeful or homey or safe, but that gate is better than what they left. That gate opens to hope and food and safety. The gate announces to a people who have lost almost all hope in life in this world that somebody cares about you. You are not forgotten. The gate exiting a prison is a sign of freedom for those who have been incarcerated. And in the midst of grave concerns of COVID-19's rampant spread inside prisons, that gate might literally be seen as a sign of life. The door into the rescue mission here in Hendersonville is a sign of hope and compassion, a place where food and support and shelter are provided. The doors at IAM or the storehouse may appear intimidating or feel humiliating for some neighbors who, for the very first time in their lives, find themselves in a crisis due to the closing of businesses and unemployment. Going in and through those doors and asking for assistance is an incredibly hard thing to do for people anytime. But for the very first time, and the uncertainty of what kind of reception is waiting on the other side of that door must be incredibly daunting. And yet, Jesus is revealed through that door in the compassionate, reassuring welcome, as well as the tangible and generous help provided. The door of the Blue Ridge Health Clinics announces welcome, compassion, and care for everyone. No questions, no ID needed. We at Grace hope and pray that passing through the Facebook portal to bring us into your home may begin a time of comfort and hope for you, even if it's only momentary. Jesus, as the gate to the sheepfold, allows the sheep to enter a place of comfort, safety, and rest. Jesus, as the gate to the sheepfold, keeps the predatory, dangerous animals out. Jesus, as the gate to the sheepfold, opens to release the sheep out to the freedom, the liberation of green pastures, flowing water, and space to romp and play and be who God created them to be. People, we also need a gatekeeper or gate watching out for our good, don't we? Dangers do exist, but also generosity, safety, and community also exist. How do we tell the difference? In today's reading, I think the key is that Jesus himself is the gate or gatekeeper, not us. Jesus is the one who, as gate and gatekeeper, determines what is good for life, how to provide for abundance, community, and safety for all who will come to him and pass through him. Sheltering at home these days, perhaps with fears about health, safety, and economic well-being, we look to gatekeepers in our community, state, and nation for the possibility of returning to work, shopping, community, and worship together. At the conclusion of our gospel reading, Jesus assures us, I came that they may have life. They meaning the sheep, they meaning us. That they may have life and have it abundantly. It seems to me that in following Jesus, we must differentiate between the voices of Jesus and the voices of thieves and bandits. Differentiate between good and bad, between safety and danger, between false hope and real hope, false life and abundant life. And I think Jesus clues us in for how we might do that. He says, sheep recognize the voice of the shepherd, the voice of the one who has and has always had their well-being as his purpose, the voice of one who knows them by name, the voice of one whom experience tells the sheep provides for their safety, provides for their life's needs. Notice the focus isn't on what the sheep do, but it's on the relationship of the sheep and the shepherd. Jesus the shepherd is with us. We will be okay. It reminds me of Paul's rhetorical question in the 8th chapter of Romans, verse 31, where Paul asks, if God is for us, who is against us? And of course, the answer, if God's on our side, nobody is against us that amounts to anything. The danger for the sheep and the danger for us comes when we choose to listen to other voices. When we choose to follow those who do not have our safety, our well-being, our life as their priority. Thieves and bandits want to exploit and destroy the sheep. Thieves and bandits have other interests and don't care about the well-being of the sheep. But the purpose that Jesus, our good shepherd, our gate, has for us is that we may have life and have it abundantly. Many physical doors now are closed to keep out the coronavirus, to keep us safe. The doors of the church are closed for now. I think this aligns with Jesus' purpose, life, and abundant life. Dr. Mandy Cohen here in North Carolina tells us that these difficult days of isolation, they're working. As hard as they might be, they are working. That life is being protected and lives are being saved. She encourages patience. She offers hope that our doors will again open, though we'll need to continue some life-saving practices like distancing and mask and limiting gathering size and so forth. And I'm willing to do that because I trust her voice. I'm willing to do that because I believe her purposes align with the purpose of Jesus to help give us life, an abundant life for all people. Maybe you've heard a saying in the past, something like, when God closes one door, God opens another or opens a window. Physical doors for homes, restaurants, and churches have been closed for safety. But I want you to think about and ponder what different doors is God opening, or at least cracking open just a bit for you during these 8 weeks of staying at home. What doors are opening that invite you to share your faith, inviting you out into ministry and mission maybe that you had never imagined or thought of before, even during this time of separation. I invite you to share your thoughts in the comment thread on the Facebook feed this morning, if you would. May the Spirit give you ears to hear and to recognize the voice of the Good Shepherd through the noise of this world. May the Spirit fill you with confidence and encourage to follow that voice into abundant life with Jesus. May you discover and embrace the mission and ministry Jesus is inviting you to share as you live into the joy and the safety of that abundant life. Amen.